through the department.
Technically, whilst the law is a bill, it's technically not a law.
Okay, so just because these Supreme Court judges are sitting there saying this is unconstitutional doesn't mean that those laws are freaking gone. Okay, that's not that's not how the laws are put in place. So having these judges sitting on the Supreme Court for a life term isn't as important as what you're making it out to be.
Bribing a U.S. congressman can vary in cost. According to anecdotal evidence, it's known to take about $99,000 cold hard cash to buy a Democratic congressman. All right. So for about, I don't know, $2 million, you can own Congress. All right.
Cheap at half the price.
So where are you?
Listen here. This is the U.S. Constitution, Article 3. It says, the judges, both of the Supreme and Inferior Courts, shall hold their offices during good behavior and shall, at stated times, receive for their services a compensation which should not be diminished throughout their continuation in office. It only says during good behavior. It doesn't say life term. It's only been interpreted as such in later times. But to me, that just means as long as they're not corrupt, we'll let them stay. But, it should be up to the people to decide that.
Now, that's actually a good subject, too, because we didn't mention the fact of impeaching. You can impeach a Supreme Court judge, I believe. Now, they have to freaking show corruption in their actions, though. That is true. And I don't think either one of us...
Well, that is actually good. That is actually a good way to word it. I like that.
But the thing of it is freaking Supreme Court justices aren't really ever corrupt, to be honest with you. They just come at the Constitution in a different perspective. Like when you look at the abortion laws, Wade, what was it again? Rhodes versus Wade. That was clearly an unconstitutional law that needed to be taken off the law books. Okay, and liberals, modern liberals, love to play up freaking hard about, that just takes away all these rights from freaking women who don't want to have babies. Well, that's not why they freaking declared it unconstitutional. They declared it unconstitutional because it doesn't pertain to freaking laws that talk about everybody, the sovereignty, okay? It specifically focuses on one specific group, okay? And it has nothing to do with freaking the right of babies being born or not being born or any of that shit. It has to do with constitutional law and sovereignty, okay? What is... When we make a law, it should freaking pertain to every citizen within the United States, not a specific group.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing is most countries now have some kind of two-tier justice system, maybe even three-tier, where
Roger's talking about the blind lady of justice principle without fear or favor.
Mm-hmm.
How about that black kid that stabbed that white kid in the heart, and because of that, he not only got let off, he also made $500,000 through taking in donations. Now, you as a white person in the US try and stab a black kid in the heart, see what happens. You go straight to jail. Do not pass go. That's one example. But another example is, all these rich celebrities that commit crimes all the time. Hunter Biden smoking crack on the internet all over the place. Did anything happen? No, gets pardoned, right? So that's an example of two-tier
major
justice.
problem about U.S. justice is the money involvement in the if even in UK if you want good solicitors, lawyers, then you have to pay for them.
Charisma scandal, you know.
It gets pretty nasty because like I agree on that when it comes to the United States. Even now, we do have separate books, okay. And a good example of that, other than what you just said, would be in family courts, okay. When it comes to custody rights, when it comes to women and men, it's very very horrible.
Yeah,
You know, um, you take a look at that form of law, and you can't call it justice whatsoever. And it's like a separate freaking law book was invented just so they could freaking do this shit. You know what I mean? That doesn't apply to the Constitution or anything else. As a matter of fact, you know, all of this shit goes into juvenile courts. Juvenile courts is completely unconstitutional. The way that frickin' they do themselves, they carry themselves, and the laws that they're putting down is insane. It's become nothing but a mill house so that they can frickin' profit from it. You've got a mother and a father who goes off to work, and their son's a fucking dope dealer or dope addict that wants to sit in the garage getting high. All of a sudden, police force comes in, busts him for freaking smoking dope. Okay, and guess what happens?
profiting that? Lawyers or what?
No, guess what happens though? The freaking house gets taken away because that boy was sitting inside of those parents' house, freaking smoking dope in the garage.
No way.
Yes.
Well, the parents should take responsibility of the child after all. Did we have an entire conversation about, well, I think on the fixing
You've never kept something from your parents? You don't think that's possible?
That's my whole point. No, I'm just putting the scenario. That's what happens. They take the freaking house, dude, because their kid was freaking smoking dope.
We were having a conversation. I think it was on the Fixings photo, leading Fixings, or whatever it's called, the other day about who should have responsibility over the child. Should the state have responsibility, or should the parents have responsibility?
That's another issue.
Would you say that Muslims are getting favoured in the courts of the UK, Mark? Over white people?
Don't do that. He's a white supremacist, so.
Oh, please.
He's like,
Did Keir Starmer cover up Pakistani rape gangs?
It's a difficult one because you would have to have a look at each individual case.
Just your gut feeling on it.
Again, I'm not going to comment.
Well, he knows.
It says here.
He has an answer.
He doesn't want to get arrested, that's why.
No, I'm not going to comment because I can see different situations and different scenarios.
Yeah, it really is. It's about that here.
I'm not like yourself. I don't like making broad over encompassing statements.
Yeah.
The examples of a justice system which is failing to deliver equality before the law are numerous. The failures of the police and prosecutors to act when individuals chanted for jihad at a political rally, the sexual abuse of many hundreds of children in Rotterdam because professionals feared being accused of racism. The postcode lottery of how non-crime hate incidents are recorded depending on which police force area you live in.
Okay.
That
right there is National Socialist garbage. Okay. First they throw in freaking equality. Let's throw this equality shit in. Well, and what we're going to do is we're going to throw in racist bullshit. You know,
no, that's what you said. All should be equal before the law. It's the same principle. Well, right? That's what it's meant to be.
I mean, come on, dude. You know, we need to be equal among the law, but hey, look at these freaking dirty ass freaking Arabs coming over here with their freaking mop heads, freaking raping our women and freaking acting all, come on, dude, seriously. That's straight up National Socialist garbage.
You
might as well give your country.
because there was a conviction.
No, you just got triggered. You didn't listen to what I said. It's basically just stating examples of where the law isn't applied equally because of where you live. That's what it was trying to say.
Look at what that's saying, though. Look at what.
Let's not forget that in the UK we have an ongoing scandal with possible local councils cover-ups.
Well,
Illegally.
Okay. Now on freaking. If you go and you look at like the whole thing about the immigration issues they talk about here in America, you can look at data that was put out by the American Immigration Council. Okay, I'm gonna read you something real quick when it comes to all of this bullshit that's put out here about crimes when it comes to immigrants. Okay, and you make your decision. But it says the American Immigration Council compared crime data to demographic data from 1980 to 2022, the most recent data available to reveal historical trends and capture the latest patterns. The data showed that as the immigrant share of the population grew, the crime rate declined. In 1980, immigrants made up 6.2% of the U.S. population, and the total crime rate was 5,900 crimes per 100,000 people. By 2022, the share of immigrants had more than doubled to 13.9%, while the total crime rate had dropped by 60.4% to 2,335 crimes per 1,000 people. Specifically, the violent crimes rate fell by 34.5%, and the property crime rate fell by 63.3%. Total crime rates are a combination of violent crimes categorized as murder, manslaughter, rape, robbery, and aggravated assault, and property crimes categorized by burglary, larceny, and motor vehicle theft. The same pattern holds true for data from recent years, from 2017 to 2022. The immigrant share of U.S. population rose from 13.7% to 13.8%, an increase of 1.7 million people. At the same time, the national total crime rate dropped from 2,758 per 100,000 people to 2,335 per 100,000 people, a 15.3% decrease. The violent crime rate alone dropped from 395 per 100,000 people to 381 per 100,000 people, a 3.6% decrease. Okay, so even though you hear all of these freaking populist national socialists here in the United States who are claiming to be conservative saying all of this shit, the truth is crime has constantly decreased over time. All right.
Except for the last 2 years.
Arrests of prosecutions of crime.
Even now.
I have to remind you that I think it was under President Biden's time, and it obviously is an obvious happening in places like New York and California, where certain crimes are not being prosecuted, such as shoplifting.